And we are on the Mark Hoke Show and welcoming in a guy that I keep being in the same building with, but I've never gotten to see him because he's always hiding up in those balconies in the palms. But we are very excited to welcome in our good friend, announcer for TNA as they get ready for Slammiversary Sunday, July 20th at that UBS Arena in Long Island, New York. Pretty nice place up there. Countdown to Slammiversary shows starting at 7 Eastern, and the main card starts at 8. That will be available on TNA Plus and all their digital platforms. And you can still get a few tickets at Ticketmaster. Tom Hannifan joining me on the show. What's going on, brother?
I'm good, man. That balcony at the Palms is very comfortable. I will say that. It's nice to be Statler and Waldorf with Matthew Raywald for an entire broadcast. And there's no enormous, sweaty, bloody person being flung into your announce desk. So there's little perks to it, but unfortunately you miss out on meeting wonderful people like yourself.
Well, I'm going to sneak up there. I was so tempted to start throwing stuff up there every time you guys were in town.
Just throw it at Raywald. Just throw it at him. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, yeah, that would be smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Well, Tom, first, I did want to mention, you and I, Pennsylvania guys. I'm South Central PA guy, Penn State guy, Philadelphia Eagles guy, as are you, my friend.
I mean, we're the best people in the world, aren't we? I am originally from Fort Washington, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. Penn State class of 2011, not to date myself, but I am an all for Philadelphia sports fan. My roots run deep here in Pennsylvania with my family, and I still live here to this day. So it's been interesting, and then also, of course, Philadelphia is just such a wonderful wrestling hotbed. So anytime that TNA is here, or even in the Northeast, like we are for Slam, it's just fantastic. It's such a good wrestling area.
Yeah, we all know that the sky is blue because God is a Penn State fan.
Exactly.
Right. and I also saw you did time at Juniata too. I know a lot about Juniata. I coach volleyball, so know the program very well.
Volleyball program's very good. Right after I finished up at Penn State, I was calling their men's and women's basketball and briefly their football before I got the job at WWE. So I'm very grateful to Juniata College for giving me an opportunity straight out of college, and it was a very good experience for me to go and cut my teeth with Penn State athletics at the college level, obviously being a part of the college communications, but then going to the Division III level and learning what it takes to really put it all together as a broadcaster. It was such a good experience.
That is amazing. You got that job with WWE so quick out of college, man.
You and me both think that. So it's a lot of luck.
Yeah. Well, let's start talking about TNA a little bit. There were some signs of TNA really getting rolling in Las Vegas. We had Hard to Kill up there, and the place was packed, and TNA has just continued to steamroll right now. I mean, you guys are selling out some pretty impressive venues. What do you feel like has been the key to TNA coming kind of out of the shadows and being the little brother hiding in the corner to this great spotlight that you guys are in now?
TNA wrestling's always been this land of underdogs and outcasts in one capacity or another. But the one thing I've seen that's been consistent in my entire time with TNA is the culture. It really is a family environment. I was so warmly welcomed and accepted by the people here that you just immediately felt embraced and you understood that everybody was pulling in the same direction. Of course, people have their individual goals in their career. You completely understand that. But everybody in TNA is trying to make this team, this product, as great as it possibly can be. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about in the past year and a half, the partnership with WWE has certainly been extremely positive for TNA wrestling and something that I think a lot of people never thought would materialize. Now, granted, there were the sporadic situations with the Royal Rumble before the partnership occurred itself, but I mean, it's just been a whirlwind, and to see the growth, I think everybody that's been with the company since I first started has experienced every little last thing of going from those smaller venues, smaller crowds, to now we're at the home of an NHL franchise, and it's one of our biggest events of all time. That's at least the way it looks. It's incredible. I think everybody's just grateful and everybody's hungry. That's the important thing.
It's funny you brought that up about the family and how everybody just seems to land in there. And I talked to Tommy Dreamer last year, and I remember he used the phrase "island of misfit toys," and there's so many people there that were cast aside, or are trying to make a name for themselves, and somehow you guys have all put it together, and in a way now that people are super impressed with what's happening.
Well, look at the origins of the company. So many people that were in WCW once upon a time. So many people that were in ECW at one point. People that had worked in WWE either were let go or decided to pursue something different. People like the Samoa Joes of the world that were cutting their teeth and doing incredible things in Ring of Honor and other places. And everybody just kind of found their home. And I think there's just opportunity with TNA wrestling. There's opportunity regardless of where you are in your career, whether you're trying to learn, whether you're a legend that is trying to contribute to this company, to the business as a whole, to individuals, trying to bring them along. And then also, I'm very excited about the people that we have helped build into full-fledged stars. And that's the exciting thing about what TNA has been able to do for 23 years now. It is the home of revolution in professional wrestling, and it's been that way for a long time.
Yeah, and we've seen so many people move on now. But I did want to ask about one person specifically, real quick, was Naomi.
Oh
And
gosh, yeah.
what a story for her, with the whole controversial release, and her confidence was gone, and now look where she is. And TNA was a huge part of that.
I've known Trinity for a long time. I remember calling some of those matches with the Funkadactyls, and you just were like, "Hey, where's this going to go for all these people involved?" And seeing her develop, I got to call a good amount of her time when she was the SmackDown Women's Champion, and that was a special moment in her career. And her coming to TNA, there were a lot of things that she wanted to prove to herself and to the world. And I think she did. And I think it gave her the confidence to get her to where she is now, to see her cash in and become the women's world champion in WWE. Everybody in TNA wrestling was happy for her, excited for her. And it was something we knew she was capable of. And I think a lot of people in WWE knew she was capable of it too. And I think that's the incredible thing about pro wrestling and just life in general. There's no one direct path to success. It's a crooked line very, very often. And to see Naomi Trinity get to where she is now, it's so special.
And we are on the Mark Hoke Show with Tom Hannifan from TNA. Now, this WWE thing caught a lot of people off guard. We saw, like you mentioned, a couple people show up at the Royal Rumble, but now, man, you guys are in bed with them pretty deep. And this is, there's a lot of people that are seeing this as a complete positive. Some people may be wondering, is WWE maybe thinking about down the road taking over? But overall, it's been a great experience for you. What has this been like to see this transition to working with WWE and TNA?
Well, for me, it's been very surreal. My first night with the company was Hard to Kill 2022, and I had been released from WWE in May of 2021. So my first night on the job, I'm talking about Mickey James in the Royal Rumble, and I was like, "This is a rib."
Oh, God.
And a lot of the guys I've worked with had either been in WWE or had not been, and they were like, "Yeah, this does feel like a rib because you were, obviously on their air for so long, and now you're talking about it all over again. You're promoting this thing." It was just kind of, it felt like up is down, left is right. It was very strange. But then fast forward a number of years, and all of a sudden, Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry pop up on NXT, and then you have NXT talent that are coming to TNA and getting more experience, that sort of thing. People have their opinions, and that's fine. I really don't bother with the business side of things. I care about what we're putting on the air and the moments that we get to call. The positive thing is that we've grown leaps and bounds during this partnership, and you have to look at that partnership as one of the many reasons why. So I think it's been a good thing for everybody. And listen, like the main event of Slammiversary is incredibly intriguing. And part of that is because an NXT wrestler currently holds the TNA World Championship in Trick Williams. So it's been a symbiotic relationship, in my opinion.
What was that like to see Trick Williams win the TNA title? It had to just be so surreal for you, especially for your time in WWE, to watch that happen. As I know when I saw it happen, I said to myself, "Good Lord, this is real."
It was big. It was landscape changing. Now, I'm very aware once upon a time, Kenny Omega and AEW held the TNA World Championship. So, unfortunately, this isn't completely unprecedented, but I don't think anybody ever saw a situation where a WWE contracted wrestler would hold a TNA championship. If you had told Jeff and Jerry Jarrett and the late great Bob Ryder 20 plus years ago on that fishing trip once upon a time that this would happen, I think they'd been like, "You're kidding me. There's no way." So there's been a lot of impossible things that have been possible and have happened because of this partnership. So personally, when it happened, I was sick to my stomach because I know Trick Williams doesn't give a damn about TNA wrestling. I know he does a lot of media and he'll say the opposite of that, but Trick cares about Trick, and he won that championship by cutting corners, cheating at Battleground to beat Joe Hendry. And he did it out of spite because he was humiliated by Joe Hendry. So I'm hoping that all gets rectified this Sunday at Slammiversary. But it's certainly been one of the biggest stories in the industry since Trick won the title.
And let's not sleep on Mike Santana in that main event too.
Oof.
Mike has been unbelievable since he came over to TNA. One of the most impressive runs that I could have imagined him putting together. It's amazing.
It's really incredible. And he was just on the Ariel Helwani show talking about his time in AEW and wanting to do more, just wanting to grow. And that's why he came back to TNA wrestling. Is I think he's seen a path for himself of what he can be in this business that he has been hell-bent on accomplishing, that he won't give up. And I think there have been so many things that have happened in his personal life that have fueled him and driven him to this moment. And for it all to be potentially happening in his backyard, his home of New York at Slammiversary, it's something they write in Hollywood movies. So I know I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for Joe Hendry, of course. You just want to see the TNA World title brought home, but that's also the challenge of this entire situation. Is it's every man for himself. Trick doesn't have to be pinned or submitted to lose his championship, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee that Joe and Mike do what's best for TNA. At the end of the day, they have to do what's best for them.
Tom Hannifan, who wins the match?
If man, you know what? I'm not going to go to predictions and spoilers and all that sort of stuff, but I appreciate it. There's been, listen, the fact that Trick won the title, you can't predict anything anymore in this business. There's what I hope happens, and I just articulated, but who wins, we'll find out.
Fair enough. I'll let you slide on that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. But this is a terrific card, too. You start running down through here. You've got Moose taking on Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. That tag match is going to be incredible. The Nemeth taking on the Hardys, the Rascals, and First Class. And AJ Francis, by the way, I haven't got to interview him yet, but that is another huge turnaround. I mean, what he's been able to accomplish in TNA and just bring out his personality after everything that happened in WWE. What a great time for him. But talk a little about AJ and this tag match, because it's going to be it's just loaded with talent.
Well, I was talking about it before, is that TNA wrestling presents you with an opportunity, and it's what you do with that opportunity. And AJ Francis will be the first person to tell you that he made Joe Hendry last year, and their rivalry certainly intertwined with that moment where Joe went viral for his song and a million other things that were going on in his world. So AJ Francis has done some positive things here in TNA wrestling. I'm excited about this ladder match because I love ladder matches, period. I love tag team ladder matches. So you have the Hardys, who've been in, I think this will be their 18th as a duo, which is insane. And you're just like grateful for any last ones we get from them, considering like you just want what's best for their physical health, period. Casey Navarro is rehabbing through a left knee injury and should be okay, as far as I know, for Slammiversary. Trey Miguel has been dealing with injuries, so questions for the Rascals. Nick Nemeth basically made his name in a ladder match, Money in the Bank once upon a time. His brother Ryan has never been in a ladder match. And I'll be the first person to tell you Ryan is in TNA because Nick. So I'm very excited to see how this whole thing goes, because anything can happen in a ladder match. And especially when the Hardys are involved and they want to reimagine things, the possibilities are endless. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, I always think it's a good thing when Matt does
It will be
crazy
good.
stuff. Yeah. Tessa Blanchard's taking on Indy Hartwell. Mustafa Ali has got Cedric Alexander. That should be a fantastic match.
Absolutely.
The Elegance brand against the Inspiration, Cassie and Jessica are back, which is
Cassie and Jesse. I got to correct you. Cassie and Jesse.
Oh, I'm sorry. My
Jesse
apologies.
will come for you. Ray Walt made that mistake recently, and he's now dubbed them Cassica and Jessica. So you got to be very careful. The Inspiration are wonderful. I love them to pieces, but Jesse will come for you.
Well, you know what? That might not be a bad thing. And we've also got a unification match. Masha Slamovich, the TNA Knockouts champ, is taking on JC Jane, the NXT Women's Champion. Another one of these WWE crossover matches. How excited are you for this one? Because unless there's a goofy finish, somebody's walking out with 2 titles.
This is maybe the greatest gamble in the young history of this partnership between WWE and TNA, in that we're guaranteed to see a double champion between TNA and WWE. And I think the really important part of this is that it will be a woman who accomplishes that feat, and their name will go down in history. Now, selfishly looking at this, if we get to the end of Slammiversary and Trick Williams is still the TNA World Champion and JC Jane is now the TNA Knockouts World Champion, I think that's worst case scenario for TNA Wrestling, because the mission is to bring our titles home, to keep our titles at home on TNA wrestlers. So we're all pulling for Masha Slamovich here in TNA.
Yeah, it is going to be a wild night. And once again, that is coming up Sunday, the 20th. The pre-show starts at 7, and then we've got the main card starting at 8. You can watch that on TNA Plus and all sorts of digital platforms. And if you're up in New York, you can get tickets at Ticketmaster.com. And there's not many left, but there's a few decent seats there. So get on in there and enjoy yourself at the USB Arena. I wish I could come out and be with you, Tom Hannifan.
I wish you could too. Listen, I'm dying for us to get back to Las Vegas at some point. We've always had such good experiences whenever TNA Wrestling has worked in Las Vegas, but this weekend, UBS Arena, Long Island, like the home of the New York Islanders, an NHL franchise. I think everybody in the company feels the magnitude of this event. It's shaping up to be one of the biggest events in company history, and we haven't even gotten to our biggest event of the year, Bound for Glory, this year. So I'm really excited about this one, man.
It's going to be a blast. Tom, where can everybody find you on social media?
Check me out on X, as the kids say, and Instagram at Tom Hannifan, TomHannifan.
And are you still doing that Penn State podcast, by the way?
Always. Oh, my God. Yeah. For 4 years now, myself and former Penn State and NFL defensive back Justin King, I love working with him. We're going to be covering what should be, hopefully, is a huge year for Penn State football. I don't know about you, I've been trying to temper expectations and phrase it as Penn State can credibly contend for the national championship this year. So if you're interested in hearing about Penn State football, check out State of Penn State Football Show with myself, Tom Hannifan, and Justin King, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts.
It's going to be awesome. So is Slammiversary. I hope you have a great time. And next time you're in Vegas, we will sing Fly Eagles Fly for Matt. How's
that? Yes. Let's do it. Go Birds.
Sounds good. Tom, thanks for joining us. Really do appreciate it. Have a great time up there in New York, my friend.
Thank you.
Hi, pro wrestling fans. Mark Hoke here. I'd really appreciate it if you would take a moment to join the Mark Hoke Show family, and please click on the subscribe button below. Also, please stick around and check out the incredible sponsor of this video. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again on the Mark Hoke Show YouTube channel.